There's no way I'm ever coming out.
Hey there. It's been a few weeks, I know, since I sent you a message, but things have been going pretty good with Brian, and that's been keeping me busy. But something happened this weekend that I have to tell you about. I never would have believed it could happen. But first, I wanted to tell you a couple other things I learned about Brian that were a little surprising. The first is that a week after we met, something like that, um, he told me that he was not 17, he's 15, that he just turned 15 right before we met. Well, I'm about to turn 18, so I mean, I'm kind of freaking out that I'm, you know, cradle robbing or something. But, what can I say? I mean, he's so cute and we have so much fun together. Okay, so he's 15. That was one thing. And then uh, one day we were driving around in my parents' car, and I wanted to show him the elementary school that I went to, which is very close to where he lives. And as we were driving through the schoolyard, the parking lot, we get to the baseball field, and he sees some kid he knows. And he's like, rolling down the window, leaning out, waving, screaming, hi to the kid, which was okay. But then as I drove through and then we get out of sight, he's like, please, 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 let me drive the car. I know how to drive the car. I want my friends to see me. It'd be really cool. Please, 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 please let me do it. And I never would have thought to ask that myself. And I said, well, you don't even know how to drive a stick, do you? You're not even 16. You haven't ever driven a car. Oh, no, my dad taught me. I know how. I can do it. It's only the parking lot. Please, 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 please let me do it. So, he just kept asking and he just wasn't going to give up. So, fine. So I pulled the car back to just out of sight where we started to drive up in the first place. And then we switch and I let him drive. And the truth is he doesn't know how to drive a stick. But I sort of told him enough that he could coast through a lot and his friends could see him. And again, he's like leaning out the window, yelling and screaming, not watching where he's going, and making sure his friend could see him. So that was a little weird, but it made him happy. So I was glad to do it. Other than that, we've been hanging out a lot, which is awesome because his mother hasn't been at home. She's been working outside the house. So not every day, but a lot of days we have the house to ourselves. So we spend hours hanging out together, just, doing stuff and hanging out. And about 4 or 5 days ago, we were laying there, no clothes on, and he lifts his feet up and says, put it in me. And I never really thought about doing that before, but I was like, okay. So we tried that, and we didn't get very far because he said, ow, ow, it hurts too much, I don't want to do it. So, but we tried that, and that brings me to the big thing that I want to tell you that just happened yesterday, kind of yesterday. So on yesterday morning, which was Saturday, he tells me, oh, I've got this great idea. Let's tell your parents that you're spending the night at my house, and I'll tell my parents that I'm spending the night at your house. And that way we can be in the car and we can hang out all night and spend the whole night together. Which, okay, that would be kind of fun, right? But I've never really done anything like that before. And more to the point, it's like, my parents have no idea who he is. He doesn't even go to my high school. I've never talked about him. They've never met him. And now I'm going to go stay over, spend the night at his house. So, but he pushed me and I asked and they said yes, like they didn't care. And his mom said yes. So that's what we did. We, went to the store, got some supplies, food and stuff, and, drove around until it got pretty late. I don't know, 11:30, 12, something like that. And finally I said, well, we got to find a place to sleep for the night. And we got to find a place that's safe, where, no one's going to find us and nothing bad will happen. So after thinking about it, we eventually decided to go to the community college, which is where he actually got my number from the bathroom wall and how we met. But they have these big parking lots there, and there's nobody there. They're all empty. And so, I found a safe spot, and we spent the night there and fooled around, of course. And but ended up getting up really early and super tired because we went to bed kind of late and not really that comfortable sleeping in the car. But got up, peed, fooled around some more, and decided, okay, let's go get some food, more food. And as I'm pulling out of the parking lot, he starts begging me to drive again. The parking lot's empty. Let me drive it down just to the main road. Nobody's here. It's early in the morning. Please, 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 please. Okay. He's going to keep asking me, so I just gave in, let him do it. We switch places. He gets in the car, and he does a little better this time. And he's going down the road, which is kind of down a small hill. And as the road turns to the left, instead of following the road, he drove off the road. He went completely off the road into this field. We're like rolling through the field. The car's not stopping. And all of a sudden there's this tree right in front of us. And I'm screamed like, watch out. And he barely misses the tree, like the front of the car, the tree, but it scrapes on the side right where I am. And finally gets the car to stop. And it's like, oh my God, I can't believe what just happened. I can't believe it. I can't believe he's so stupid. I can't believe that I let him drive. I can't believe that he's wrecked my parents' car. Oh my God. So we're in shock, and it takes a second to think about what to do. But we're stuck in the field, right, jammed next to a tree, and I'm thinking, we got to get out of here, because if someone sees us, we're going to be in big trouble. So I move the car and get it back on the road. Look at the damage. The side of it is like not demolished, but there's big scrape marks in the first half of the car from the tree. What are we going to do? I don't know. My first instinct is, okay, I just got to go home. I got to tell my parents, that what happened. I just got to tell them it was empty and he wanted to drive and I let him do it, and that's what happened. So it's still pretty early in the morning, and when we get to my house, nobody's up. And I really don't want to tell him in the first place, and I definitely don't want to wake him up to tell him what happened. So I come back out to the car where Brian's waiting, and I say they're still asleep. I guess we'll have to wait. And he says, no, I've been thinking about it. I have the best idea. This is what we're going to do. We're going to tell him that we wanted to go to the beach and we stopped at the mall to get some sunglasses. And while we were at the mall, somebody hits the car while it's parked. And we don't know who it was. We just came out and saw that it was damaged. And that way, it won't be your fault. And it won't be my fault. And nobody will know. We won't have to tell them anything. And I'm thinking, this is like the dumbest idea. No one will believe this. But he's like, no, for sure. It'll work. We have to do it. Fine. We'll try it. What do we got to lose? It's already sucks. So then I go around to look at the car again to see if the story makes any sense. And there's all this wood jammed into the crumpled parts of the car. So I had to pick it all out. I mean, I probably spent at least a half an hour trying to pick all the little pieces of wood out. And then it's starting to get a little later, and I'm thinking, oh, what if I'm not done picking the wood out and my parents find us there? So I decided we have to leave and finish cleaning the car, and then realize that the mall doesn't even open until 10. So we have to wait for that. So around about 11, we finally go to the house. I go in, my dad's there. I give him the whole story about how we were at the mall, someone hit us. And of course, he's pissed. He's just furious, especially when he comes out and looks at the car and all the damage on it. And he's giving me this look like he totally doesn't believe me. And I'm like, no. And Brian's like, yeah. That's what happened. So he says, okay, we have to go to the mall and see if anybody saw anything or if there's any reports. Oh, great. So we take Brian home. He's out of it. I'm stuck in the car with my dad, who's just fuming. And when we get to the mall, he says, okay, tell me where to go. And of course, we have not been to the mall. I don't know where this supposedly happened. So, very quickly, I have to say, oh, it happened right there. And we go to the spot I indicate, and he's like, I don't see any sign of damage. There's nothing here. No, it happened here for sure. This is the place. Okay, well, I'm going to go to the security office, and I'm going to find out if anybody saw or reported anything. So about 15 minutes later, he comes back with the security guy, and they're both looking at the damage and talking, and then they kind of walk away so I can't hear, and I can see the security guy shaking his head, and they totally don't buy the story. I just know it. So, no reports, obviously. We just get back in the car, go home, and my dad's still pissed. But, I never give in. Because you know why? If I gave in, then I have to, explain more about Brian. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to say that I let him drive. I don't want to have all these questions about him and how I know him and all this stuff. It's bad enough we had to drive him home. So I don't know if I've heard the last of this or not. I mean, it's night now and things have calmed down a little bit. But that's what happened. Brian wrecked my car. My dad thinks I did it. And I'm really afraid they're going to ask all kinds of questions. I'll keep you posted on what happens. Talk to you later.